So you're both emergency physicians. And there seems to be a lot of emergency physicians that get engaged in this work. Is that a fair assessment? And why is that, if that's so?
I'll let you answer that.
It's an emergency.
We're not good at sitting still in the face of fast-moving disease. It's like this is the thing I'm worst at in the entire world. We're trained to take action in an itemized way in the face of fast-moving disease in uncertain situations. And so both of us are pretty unable to be at the site of any acute situation and not do that. It's what the world has trained us to do, and what we practice now. I practiced for 14 years. How about you?
20.
Yeah, so it really becomes a way of being, and it ends up being quite well suited to this work. It's not just from Canada that emergency physicians are overrepresented. I'd say maybe half of the docs who are really, really active in this space are emerge docs.
And believe it or not, it's the same in COVID policy as well. I think it's that ability to act without 100% of the information. A lot of physicians gather data. I want to make the exact right decision, so I'm going to wait. Whereas emergency doctors, we're kind of used to seeing a situation where we don't know everything, but we have to act anyways. And then if we don't get it quite right, we can adjust. It's quite a different approach than a lot of physicians do.
Are there many other medical contingents or healthcare contingents at COP27? It seems like the Canadian healthcare contingent has been actually quite influential and important at these events. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, it used to be that there were only about 3 of us who showed up. So, the UK has to be given credit for all of the work it did in this space. I know that, I think it was Durban, it was just Dr. Robin Scott and Nick Watts. And since then, in Paris, there were 100 people, I think, or so who went to the conference. What we're seeing now is just huge growth. So we have got quite a lot of learners coming in from Colorado. They've got a really good climate diploma program there. The International Federation of Medical Students Association is always one of the most well-organized players. I mean, all hail the world's medical students who essentially kept this sector going while the adults of medicine, frankly, fiddled away time. We wouldn't have a Global Climate and Health Alliance if not for medical students like Nick Watts at the time and Isabel Braithwaite. So youth have really been incredibly important. Now the adults are finally coming, and we're seeing more senior physicians and senior policymakers. We were so honored today to have Isabella Tan from Health Canada join us as we presented. We know that Minister Duclos wasn't able to come because, of course, the provincial and territorial ministers meeting was a conflict. But even just having people from Health Canada here, it used to feel really lonely. I remember at COP21, I was at the Indigenous Peoples Pavilion, and I was hearing impacts on food security, staple foods from Indigenous peoples all around the world. And the thought in my head was, every doctor in the world needs to hear this. And I looked around the pavilion, I thought nobody I knew was there. And I was sitting beside Elder Francois Paulette, and I think he looked at me, he's like, "You okay, doc?" I guess he could tell I was tachycardic. It felt like when I have a very sick patient in the middle of the night that I know needs care that I can't provide within my skill set and my resources, and I can't get a hold of someone on the phone. That's how it felt at COP21. It doesn't feel like that anymore, which is great because our profession is smart. We're some of the most trusted people in the world. We know that the health frame from a communication studies perspective is one of the most persuasive ways of motivating people to action. We know that so many ways that we can decrease greenhouse gas emissions, reduce air pollution, save lives. And so really, I truly believe that with 5% of greenhouse gas emissions attributable to healthcare and 10% of global world product allocated by the health sector, we have a greater potential than any other group of professionals to activate the social tipping points in terms of communications, in terms of resource allocation, in terms of policies that's required to deliver a healthy response to climate change. So like having a group here to meet, to form rapport, what happens is we push people here and then we go home and we know one another. So all of a sudden we work together so much more effectively, and that transmits through the year. So I think what you're going to find is you're going to go home and you'll think to yourself, oh, what did Nick Watts say about whatever? And then you'll email him and he knows you. So he'll email you back and things just go. And so part of this is that rapport building, which, as we all know, humans are humans. And if you know somebody, things happen a lot faster.
I think the other thing that we're seeing is that CAPE is becoming a known quantity on the international scene, especially when it comes to coal. And, we've had a lot of successful campaigns. And so we're at that point now where our organization can mentee other organizations. So hopefully we'll be able to play that role.
Yeah, we were talking to a young doctor from Uganda today and had just had some discussions last week with the Global Climate and Health Alliance about seeing if we could help apply for some funds to steward climate-related positions, NGO in Africa. And we've got other contacts there. We met another one today. So these are the kind of things we can help people not reinvent the wheel, because we did. We reinvented all sorts of wheels, and now other people don't have to.